Okay, hello everyone. I know it has been a couple of weeks since I did a video. I want to apologize for that, by the way. I'm not going to go into detail about why I didn't do a video last Friday. Let's just say that I thought I was going to be doing something. I made a mistake and overestimated, and underestimated rather, the nature of the cost of what I was going to be doing. So I wound up doing what I was going to do last week today, and it worked out better because I used paratransit to get where I needed to go instead of Uber. But I mean, I could have done a video last Friday, but I decided not to. So anyway, even after that, but anyway, I apologize for that. But I do have some news, which I'll get to at the end of the video. I will do a cochlear implant progress update on Monday. I did have a mapping appointment today, and I will explain how that went in Monday's video. But today is going to be... now, this channel is for a coaster enthusiast. I am a coaster and throw ride enthusiast, and today I want to mainly deal with some news that broke earlier this week. One of which is that I am indirectly related to. I'm not talking about family. I'm talking about like something that is close to me. So we're going to start out here by doing kind of a tribute, as it were. When I was growing up, Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington, Texas was my home park. It was a place where I hung out a lot, especially in the summers when I had Six Flags season pass. My parents got me a Six Flags season pass for my 16th birthday instead of a car, for obvious reasons. And I can remember many a time during my teenage years, especially the summer between my freshman and sophomore years of high school, going to Six Flags a lot. They had a ride called La Víbora, Spanish for the Viper. And it literally looked like a coiled snake, hence the name the Viper. But a lot of us who grew up going to Six Flags just called it the bobsled. And it was the last remaining bobsled in the world built by Intamin, which is a ride manufacturer in Switzerland. And it was an institution at that park. It had been there since 1986. Bobsled was one of those, La Víbora was one of those rides that it was a rite of passage when you rode it. It was, and the idea of a bobsled coaster is that the cars move in a trough and freewheel instead of being on a track. So it's basically like going down a slide. That's basically what these things were like. Well, earlier this week, rumors started earlier this week in certain online communities that I was a part of. And Six Flags confirmed what many of us had come to already know yesterday, and that is that La Víbora is being removed. And this was tough to digest in a lot of ways. Because like I said, a lot of us grew up riding that ride. I can remember riding that ride almost every time I went there. And it was a ride that most all of my family could do together. And there was just something cool about it. I know, the La Víbora was one of those rides that you loved it or you hated it. You know, that's pretty much what it was. I loved it. And I knew people that loved it. Now, I loved it not only as a ride because I thought the feel of the ride was cool, but also as an advocate for preserving historic rides. I viewed it as a significant ride, especially because it was, you know, for a long time it was the last remaining Intamin bobsled coaster in the world. You know, because the Great Escape got rid of theirs. I believe it was they had the other one, and then last year they got rid of that. So, you know, so for me it was upsetting to hear that this ride was getting removed. I was really hoping to maybe going back home next year to visit and riding the bobsled, but obviously that's not going to happen anymore. You know, there was just something really cool about sitting in that inline seat, leaning back. You know, if you were lucky and you got a seat to yourself, you could you know, stick your legs, you could stretch out, lean back, and the restraint didn't even touch you. It was more to keep you in, to keep you from sliding forward and out, and grabbing onto the grab bars on the side and just having fun. Were there bumpy parts of the ride? Yes. But I didn't find it. I heard that in its later years it was jarring for a lot of people. I personally, last time I rode it was in 2018. I loved it. I didn't have a problem with it. Like I said, you either loved it or you hated it. There was really no middle ground. You know, it was kind of like Mine Train on the other side of the park. You know, the Mine Train, the Arrow Mine Train coaster, where I hated it for years but grew to love it after I became an enthusiast. So, you know, so just rest in peace to the bobsled. To me, it will always be known as the bobsled because that's what me and a lot of my friends called it. We wouldn't say Lavibora. We would say, "Oh, we're going to go ride the bobsled now," you know, and whatever. Yeah, we're gonna they are also removing a ride that I never got to ride, which was called El Diablo, and I wish I had gotten to ride that because I'm a huge fan of that type of ride. Basically, a gigantic loop that the train is inside, and it basically like goes around and around the loop. It's not a roller coaster because it's powered throughout and whatever. It's pulled by tires and whatever. But you know, I wish I could have gotten to ride that one. But hey, I am excited though about what they are replacing it with. They are replacing it with a dive coaster. Now, if you don't know what a dive coaster is, it's a particular type of roller coaster from a company called Bollinger and Mabillard, or Mabillard. I don't know how you say it. B&M, and it features vertical drops, hence the name dive coaster, and it. I rode SheiKra at Busch Gardens Tampa, which was incidentally the first dive coaster in North America. I rode it in 2022, and you know, okay, good on Six Flags for getting one of these. It'll be a really cool addition to the park, I think, especially if the rumors are true that it's going to be a dive coaster with an over 300-foot drop. That's going to be epic. But in my opinion, dive coasters are one-trick ponies. The gimmick is the vertical drop, and everything else pales after that. You know, when I rode SheiKra, I felt that the ride was pretty much over after the initial drop. You know, the gimmick of these rides is that you go up the lift hill, you get to the top, and you go really slowly around to the edge of the drop, and they hold you there for about, you know, 3 or 4 seconds, although it feels longer than that. In fact, when I rode SheiKra, I actually freaked out and thought that we had broken down. I thought that the ride had broken down. And of course, the people I was with were laughing their heads off because they knew what was coming. And when we went and when the holding brake let go, I screamed an expletive. It was really it was kind of funny. But in my opinion, the ride ended. Like I said, the vertical drop is just a one trick. These rides are just one trick ponies. It's all about the drop. It's all about that first drop, and then after that, I really feel that it kind of pales in comparison. The rest of the ride pales. I think it'll be a good addition to the park. I mean, if anything, it should lure people away from rides like New Texas Giant may have shorter waits. Because everybody wants to try the big new thing, and it will beat Titan as the tallest coaster in the state. And I'm going to be honest with you, Titan is overrated. When Six Flags Over Texas was the only park that I went to regularly, I thought Titan was the coolest coaster ever. And then I rode Mako at SeaWorld Orlando and Diamondback and Orion at Kings Island, and they changed my views. Those three rides changed my views completely. About Diamondback and Mako changed my views completely about what a good hyper coaster, the coaster over 200 feet tall, should be. And I like Titan, but it's not. It is no longer my favorite hyper coaster. It was my only hyper coaster for a while, but after riding two B&M hypers and a B&M Giga, which was B&M Giga's Orion at Kings Island, my views have completely changed on Titan. It's good for what it is, but there are better rides out there. There are better rides out there. So anyway, very sad to see the bobsled go. But it was also getting harder to maintain and whatever. So I understand that. And there were restrictions like the bobsled, it couldn't operate in the rain. There were other rules around it too, but it's going to feel really weird, not walking through the Six Flags parking lot and not hearing the bobsled had a very distinctive sound that could be heard outside the park when you were walking into the park. And it was a very, very distinctive sound. And it's going to be weird not hearing that sound. It's going to be really weird not hearing that sound. I don't know when I'm going to be able to go back to Over Texas again, but it's going to be really weird not hearing that sound. It's going to be weird. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is the announcement of the removal of the world's tallest roller coaster, Kingda Ka, at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, I did not get to ride this, and so I don't really have an opinion on it. I'm sad to see it go, but from what I understand, it was a maintenance nightmare. And the people that are in charge of the newly combined Six Flags and Cedar Fair merged company, which is now called Six Flags, don't have good relationships with the manufacturer of Kingda Ka, as I understand it. So I get why they want to take it out. I really do. Again, I'm sad to see it go. We had talked about, if I hadn't had implant surgery this year, if I hadn't had to get an implant, my friend Scott and I had very seriously considered going to Pennsylvania and also swinging by Six Flags Great Adventure to ride Kingda Ka and El Toro and other rides like it. We had talked about that, but he went. I was not able to, and so yeah, it is. It is what it is. I'm hoping that Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point can be reopened next year, because that's a dang cool concept, and I would love to see that ride get reopened. But anyway, so those are the main stories that I wanted to talk about this week. And yes, I know about the ride additions to the other Six Flags parks. I know Kings Island is getting they call it a family thrill attraction. We don't have any more details, so we don't know. But I'm guessing it'll probably be a family coaster, family launch coaster, whatever. Uh, I mean, Kings Island already has backlot stunt coaster, but that's a little bit. I would say backlot. I don't know. Backlot stunt coaster does not. I mean, the Helix at the start does not feel family friendly to me. It just doesn't. But what do I know? I mean, I think launch coasters are becoming a new thing now. You had Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood open last year, and stuff like that. I wonder if these is launch coasters are becoming the next big thing. Although with Cedar Point getting the Vekoma Tilt Coaster next year, the Siren's Curse, who knows? I mean, only time will tell. Also, what else? The attractions going to the water park attractions going to I believe it was Carowinds in Canada's Wonderland. Those sound really neat. Six Flags Mexico getting a family boomerang. Okay, yeah, I mean, I've done a family boomerang. They're fun rides, and I think it'll be a good fit for that park. Um, I haven't been there, but it sounds like it'll be a good fit. Let's hope it is. Um, and so yeah, but really, only time will tell what's going to happen here. It really is. It's hard to say. I don't think we're going to see a lot of new attractions in 2025 uh, at major parks. I mean, of course, we got the tilt coaster going to Cedar Point, and of course we've got Coda Land at Circuit of the Americas opening. But I don't. I think next year is going to be a somewhat slow year for parks. I mean, even I don't think even Dollywood is putting something in 2026. I think not next year, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, only time will tell. Um, but I am cautiously optimistic the about the future of Six Flags. Although, like I said, I am sad to see bobsled go. And I'm going to be honest with you, as someone who went to Cedar Fair parks before the merger, who experienced Cedar Fair parks for the first time when I went to Kings Island. Now, to be fair, Kings Island is the only pre Six Flags Cedar Fair park that I've been to. But I'm going to be honest, I have a better time at Kings Island than I do at Six Flags Over Texas. It's just the employees, they seem to be a lot friendlier. The quality of the food is better. That's a big thing. I really hope that food gets better at the Legacy Six Flags parks, and I hope that the ride maintenance gets better and stuff like that. But Cedar Fair, I think they just did a better job at managing parks than the old Six Flags did. I mean, I cannot forget the last time I had food at Six Flags Over Texas, I got sick. And, so I really hope that to the point where when my family and I went to Holiday in the Park in 2018, would not eat because I'm like, I don't want to get sick again. And meanwhile at Kings Island, their food, I could eat their food all the time. Kings Island is a park that I would willingly stop to eat a meal at, or stop riding to eat a meal at. Great food. I mean, no, it's not your five-star restaurant, but you shouldn't expect it to be. But the food that I had, the Chicken Shack is my favorite place in that park. And I absolutely, and I love the Chicken Shack. Love a big basket of their chicken tender straight out of the deep fryer. So good. So good. Um, and for those of y'all that don't know, I don't eat red meat. I don't like burgers. I don't like bacon or anything like that. Yes, I get teased mercilessly for my hatred of bacon, but, it just... So anyway, those are the two main things that I wanted to share my thoughts and provide some closure about the bobsled ride. Like I said, it will be missed. I remember I made a Facebook post earlier this week about the bobsled, and so many people commented to share memories their times on that ride. And you know, it's kind of like me. I mean, I remember riding that ride for the very first time and loving the feeling of it, you know, and yeah, and absolutely loving the feeling of it, and just loving the feel of the freewheeling thing. You know, it was like going down a slide. It felt like going like up the sides of a giant slide. You know, it was a really, really neat feeling. And I'm gonna miss it. Now, if Shockwave is removed, that will be the end of Western civilization as we know it. You know, as far as I'm concerned. That Shockwave is my baby. That is my favorite steel coaster. Well, always will be. And you know, I do not want to see that ride go, and I certainly do not want to see that ride retrofitted with B&M trains like they did at Six Flags Over Georgia. Because from what I hear, when they did that to Mindbender and turned it into Riddler Mindbender, it neutered the ride. So, you know, I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that, you know, I really hope that with the new Cedar Fair leadership's good relationship with Gerstlauer, I wouldn't mind seeing Shockwave getting fitted with Gerstlauer trains. That would be the one thing that I would be willing to see is G trains for Shockwave, for Gerstlauer trains. No other manufacturer will do. You know. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, 2025 is we have the dive coaster going to Six Flags Great America. We have the multi-launch coaster going to Canada's Wonderland. So, I mean, we are going to see some major attractions next year, but I think 2026 is going to be the big year where we see a lot. You know, but excuse me. But anyway, so those are my thoughts on that. Now, I want to talk about the big news that happened last week. And there will be a video about this during Thanksgiving week. It's going to be a bonus video that will be posted on, I'm trying to decide between either Thanksgiving Day or Black Friday. I'm trying to decide which day to post it on. But last week, I got the Hover Air X1 Pro Max drone. And what happened last Friday, it actually turned out to, what I was not able to do last Friday turned out to actually be a blessing in disguise, because I was able to be here when FedEx came and asked me to sign for the package. So I was actually able to answer the door and sign for it. And let me tell you, I did my first successful drone hover last Saturday, and it was one of the coolest experiences that I've had in a long time. And I have had a lot of people ask me to talk about this drone and stuff like that. And everyone, I will do a whole video about this, about the Hover Air X1 Pro Max, how it works and how it is accessible to totally blind people and what it can do. Now, what I will not do in that video is I will not demonstrate a lot of different flight modes, because I encourage people to explore this line of drones on their own. What I'm going to do in the video, though, is I am going to provide an overview of the Hover Air X1 line, because there are 3 different drones in the line. Why I personally recommend the Pro Max unless you genuinely need to go cheaper. And I will demonstrate the drone hovering. I will take it up and have it hover in front of me. But I'm not going to provide a comprehensive overview or a comprehensive tutorial or anything like that. I'm just gonna give all of you an overview of how the drone works, why it is accessible. Now, there is a YouTube channel called The Blind Life that Sam is the guy that runs it. He did a demonstration a few months ago of the original Hover Air X1. And the Hover Air X1 Pro Max is sufficiently different enough that I will be doing an overview of the Pro and Pro Max. So, I will explain the differences between the three drones and why I chose the Pro Max over the Pro, even though I don't need 8K, which is one of the modes that the Pro Max can shoot in. I had other reasons, which I'll get into in the video, but I will post the demonstration video during the week of Thanksgiving. I don't know when I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out what day to post it on, or maybe I'll do it on the Saturday after Black Friday. I don't know. We'll see what happens, because I have some ideas. Next week is the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions Expo in Orlando, and my video next Friday, I plan to talk about what I heard about during the week and give my thoughts on it. And I hope to go to IAAPA next year. I would really, really like to go to IAAPA next year, as an ACE volunteer, American Coaster Enthusiast volunteer. We'll see what happens next year and if I am able to go do it. But next week is IAAPA week, huge week for amusement industry enthusiasts, big week. And so, next week is, now if by some crazy coincidence I don't hear anything about IAAPA next week, then next Friday will be just a general chat, and maybe I'll do a drone demo then. Now the drone demo will be done with the GoPro camera, so I'm going to be getting the GoPro Hero 12 back out and putting it on its tripod to record the drone demo. So you're going to hear, so that you can hear everything, and I will give you a basic overview of the app, but I'm not going to show you everything, because your experience with the Hover X1 app is going to be different depending on which drone you have. So I'm not going to give you very much of an overview of the app, but I will give a general idea of what you can expect when you open the app. But I need to emphasize, I know that there's a lot of excitement about this, but this is not, this is the Pro and Pro Max drones were really designed for content creators, and they were designed, I think most people could maybe get away with doing the original Hover Air X1 and be fine. I chose the Pro Max for some reasons that I will get into in my video, but these are not consumer. The Hover Air X1, the original X1, is like the most consumer grade product of the three drones, the original X1, and it's also, I think, the most affordable now. It's the most affordable now because they lowered the price on it. But I'm just going to say, some of you may be disappointed because there are limitations to each of these autonomous drones. There are limitations. There are things that you will not be able to do or tell if something is being done right. So a lot of it is going to be is a wing and a prayer. When you use this drone, you send it up, and another reason why I got the Pro Max is because of the physical stabilization of the camera, which I will get to in the video. But some of you may be disappointed that these drones may not be what you think they are. But what I will say is that you will be amazed at what they can do. I think you will be very impressed. And yes, drone footage will come on this channel. I don't know when it's going to come, but drone footage will come. But I just need to figure out when the best time to do drone footage is. In fact, I may take it to Malibu Jacks here in Louisville and have the drone follow me around while I'm riding the bumper cars. That's a thought I've had. And so I may consider that. May very seriously look into that. But anyway, so just I don't want to disappoint any of you, but I need to caution people that these drones are not. You're not going to be able to use every single feature of the drone. Like the Pro and Pro Max, obviously it's not a good idea for a totally blind person to use manual control mode. With where you use joysticks. I have the accessory that that allows for the joystick attachments, but I didn't get it for that. I got it for something else, and I haven't even figured out how to use that thing yet. So that will come. That's going to come later. But so anyway, so just I don't want to disappoint any of you, but I need to say that this may not be what some of you think it is. These drones may not be what some of you think they are. They are not toys. I can tell you right now, the HoverAir X1 Pro and Pro Max are not toys. A lot of people say they rival DJI drones in their quality and feature set. And of course, the big thing they have going for them, for us as blind people, is that they fly themselves. But they fly in preset patterns. It's not like you can sit there and say, oh, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. It doesn't work like that. They fly in particular patterns. There's 6 different patterns. And so you have to like I said, there are limitations to these drones. Is it a step forward? Absolutely it is. If you had told me a few years ago that I'd be able to use a drone, I would have laughed it off. But we can use a drone now. There's a drone that blind people can use now. A video and photography drone. So it just, but just please understand going in to everybody that's excited about this, that this is not going to be what I think many of you hope it will be. So just go in with an open mind when that video is posted. But anyway, so, but I am very excited about the drone. Of course, I haven't really had a chance to play with it this week. But I may do some more playing with it tomorrow. But anyway, and finally, I want to update all of you on the situation that I talked about in my video about a month ago. Some of you may remember that I had to stay in an extended stay hotel for a week because of some things that were going on. The person that was involved in that situation has moved out. We don't think he's moved all the way out, but he's mostly moved out. And I'm not going to go into detail out of respect for the privacy of my apartment manager, but let's just say that there were other things that came to light that basically he would have been evicted anyway. And what happened with the loud music situation escalated what would have happened eventually. And I want to thank everybody who was so supportive during that time. That was a rough week. I'll tell you that right now. That was a very, very rough week. There were things that I realized about myself when I was staying in that hotel that week, that it was a very, very hard week. He moved out yesterday. And so I don't know when he's going to have moved all the way out, but he's pretty much as good as gone. I'm not going to explain everything right now, but I am looking at another apartment. and it's not because of him. He gave me the motivation to do what I had been wanting to do for a long time, which was look for a new place to live. And I am looking for a new apartment. And that's all I'm going to say about that. If you know, you know. But there's only 2 people that know that one of them subscribes to this channel. But anyway, so I want to thank all of you who gave me a lot of support that week. And it meant more than you know. And, you know, I know there was at least one person who did not agree with the way that I made that video, and I have nothing but respect for him because he made valid points that I was not even aware of at the time. I have no disrespect for him. And the fact that he was respectful in the way that he shared his views, you know, I didn't mind. You know, I appreciated his feedback, and I understood where he was coming from. But I just want to say that this situation was a lot more. There were things that I did not talk about in that video, again, out of respect for the privacy of people involved. There were other things that were going on during that time. It was not just about his loud stereo. It was not just about that. This was a lot more complicated than that. There was a lot of drama. There was a lot of horrible, horrible stuff that happened. Not to me, but to other people. And so I just want to say that I deliberately did not tell the entire story in that vlog post because I wanted to respect the privacy of the people involved. But it was about a lot more than what I talked about. I was sharing what was going on with me, but it was a lot more complicated than that. So I just want to say that up front, that, you know, and say that I didn't tell you everything because I was asked not to. So I was asked not to by one of the main people involved, and so I chose not to tell everything. And I will not, even if you ask me, I will not tell anyone anything else that went on. But like I said, there was some horrible, horrible stuff that went on during the time he was living in this building. So but the situation appears to have finally been resolved. For now. And so thank you to everybody that gave me so much support. I really appreciated it. Anyway, that will wrap it up for this week's video. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe and click the notification bell, and please like the video because it helps the YouTube algorithm. And I will do another video either next Monday or next Friday. I know that everyone is overdue for a cochlear implant update, so I will probably do one on Monday before I go to work. Thanks to the fact that I use paratransit now, I actually have a little bit of time before I go into work. So I will do an implant update on Monday. So you all can look forward to that. I'll let you know how the follow-up appointment went today, and we'll keep all of you posted. So anyway, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you all soon.